Manchester City, they beat Bayern Munich 3-0. What a performance from every single player on there. You can have your sound at 03 717 22 33 44. Manchester United fans, you're a little bit worried. The treble is on for City. They could do it this year. It's something that could happen. Arsenal fans as well, you're worried seeing Man City in this form. But let's speak to Oasis legend and huge Manchester City fan. He's phoned us up, Noel Gallagher. All right, Noel?
All right, Noel.
All right, guys. How are you?
Yeah, good. No, absolute pleasure, mate. Thanks for coming on. I know you're a huge Man City fan, and Cundy's been driving you mad to get on the show. You finally done it. That was a top performance tonight, complete performance.
Yeah, it's as good as it gets. It's as good as it gets. To beat Bayern Munich that way. I mean, that's the best. I think that's the best we've ever played. It's the best I've ever seen us play in Europe. Anyway, unbelievable.
So
from I mean, you know, it's not often you see a game where you could give 6 guys man of the match.
I mean, yeah, we were talking about that at the top. So all over the pitch, defensively solid, creating chances. Grealish one side, Bernardo Silva the other. But Stones has picked up, you know, a different role. And in this shape, he's looking like a Rolls Royce in the middle of the park as well.
He's, honestly, we love John. He's the king of the north, right? But imagine having that dropped on you by Pep at this stage of your career. Like you're going into midfield and you'd be like, you know, he's learning new things, but he's such a brilliant footballer, and he's a great lad. And I'm so made up for him. He just looks completely at home. He looks like the kind of player that these great European teams used to produce in the 80s, like the great AC Milan teams, and you'd cost you £200 million to buy him now. Yeah. He's unbelievable. Him, Diaz, that back four that becomes a back three or whatever it is now, it's immense now. Akanji is unbelievable. Aki, what Pep has done to Aki is, honestly, it's psychedelic. That guy was no one was queuing up to buy him. You lot got rid of him, right? And you didn't even want to buy him back. He's one of our best defenders. He's an immense player. It's unbelievable.
No, all that said, right, but the thing that struck me today watching that game was, forget about the ability, forget about what you've got up top, you've got all over the pitch. The work rate, it was something you outworked Bayern today, all over the pitch. And if you're going to continue to do that, I don't know how teams are going to get on top, because you just completely outwork them. We were talking the other night on text me, and it looks like the players have flicked the switch now. And it looks like looking in from the outside, it looks like the players have now said about this Champions League, we're going to go win it this year. This is it. And I've noticed that this huddle thing that they go into after we score and before we kick off, I've never seen that before. And it looks like the switch has been flicked, and we're in trophy mode now. And from watching the game on Saturday against Southampton and against Liverpool, it looks like they are super focused now, and it's real. Yeah. It's real now.
No, it hasn't been talked about much this season because Arsenal have been in such great form and they've been at the top of the table for most of it. But the treble's on. You know, it can be done.
Listen, you better believe it. You better believe it. Yeah. Because we've got Sheffield in the FA Cup semi-final, probably Brighton in the final, if we get there. Yeah. And then hopefully Chelsea will somehow manage to jam it against Real Madrid, and then we'll annihilate them and play Benfica, who somehow managed to jam it into the final. But in all seriousness, no. You know, these are the moments you live for as a football fan. It's like we've got potentially, 15, 16 games left, all finals. This could be it. I mean, it's real. They can do it from here. Because nobody spoke about it for the last 4 months, when usually it's the quad and all this kind of thing. Now all of a sudden, obviously I will listen to talkSPORT every day. Now all of a sudden it's like, well, hang on a minute. They're still in for this treble here. And actually watching that tonight, I'm like, I wouldn't bet against it.
Do you know what? Of all the players we've spoken about tonight, I don't think we mentioned Haaland yet.
He was great.
And even though he scored again, for me, it was about the team today. Yeah. You know, I know Stones, we went to Cundy, we talked about Grealish, Bernardo Silva, but the one up top that really is ridiculous this season, we haven't really mentioned his name today.
I know, he's mad. He's mad. The assist, the work rate, positions he takes up. He's a mad footballer. 45 goals in a single season already. Another 16 games left. Is mad. He's mad. His hair's mad. He's got a mad head. He's brilliant.
Yeah. No, just on Grealish. I've been talking about him. Me and Jace have had this discussion about him throughout the season. He looks like he's all of a sudden, he knows he's a Manchester City player that can step up in big moments. I don't know. Look, you probably watch him a lot more than me, but when I've watched him in the past, he looks like he lacks a little bit of belief, bit of confidence. Now that seems to have gone. He stays on the pitch for 90 minutes. He knows Pep is his go-to man. He just seems to me like a different player.
Well, all of us that watch City, when players turn up, it takes a season before the penny drops. And at the start of this season, we were like, Jack stepped up a bit. But I agree, over the last couple of months, he's started to look like. But if you've got, I can't believe why he wouldn't have any confidence. Because if you've got the greatest manager of all time picking you every week, that'd be enough for me. Do you know what I mean? And there's a lot of, well, what does he do? What does he give to the team? It's like, well, hang on a minute. You've got one of the greatest managers here, and he knows better than anybody else his quality. But Jack is. You can trust him now. He's great with the ball. He still holds on to it a nanosecond too long for me, but he's a great lad, great player now.
I think you just said it there, Noel. The penny's dropped a little bit with him now, and I think what he's doing now, he does feel as though because imagine how difficult that must be actually to go into that City team. They're winning trophies every single season. They've got the best manager. It's hard because when he was at Villa, he was the go-to guy. When he went to City, he wasn't, but he's now becoming that guy now. He's becoming, you rely on Jack to pull out performances, and he's doing it every week.
Here's another thing about Jack. He'd never moved club in his life.
No, it's true,
He'd gone from school to Villa, right? So imagine the first club you go to is Man City. You're given the number 10. You're replacing, I don't know if it was the number 10 before, but it's like, that's his first ever move.
It's Aguero,
right?
Aguero.
Right. So you're replacing Aguero's number. It's his first ever move as a footballer. I mean, his head must have been all over the place, so it would have taken a long time. And, of course, I'm sure he reads the papers and all that, and everybody was getting on his back, but he's there now. Yeah. He's there on merit. You don't play that many games under Guardiola if you're not good enough. Just don't. Simple as that.
No, you was at the final in Porto in 2021. You going to Istanbul
he's
to
booked
watch...
his flight. He's already booked his flight.
Are me and Cundy invited on the private jet, or...?
Well, unfortunately, when I booked my world tour, I forgot to factor in the flipping World Cup in the thing, right? So when the Champions League final is on, I am going to be in America.
What?
No.
Yeah.
No,
yeah. I don't care though. As long as we win it, I'm not bothered about being there. If we win it, I couldn't care less about being there.
Are you performing the night of the Champions League final?
Yeah, I'll be in San Diego. Yeah, I'll be in. Well, it's on during the day there. I don't know if you're aware of the time difference, surely. So it's on at I think it's on midday there. So we'll be if we get there, it'll be a daytime thing. But I'm not bothered about being there as long as we win it.
No, weren't you out of the country when you won the first title, the Aguero moment?
I was in Chile. Yeah.
So you do the same sort of thing.
I know.
Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe the longer you stay away, maybe the longer you stay away, you might win it.
Well, again, yeah, but I've got a proper job, you see, so, it takes me all over the gap, innit?
No, I've got to ask you, right, you're a music legend, right, I love Oasis and everything that you do as a person. How on earth has Cundy become your mate?
He ain't my mate, we just swap messages every now and then.
How have you even got his number?
Well,
because we used to do the thing with Goldstein, right, and then... I went into the show a couple of times, and he just mithered me until I just gave him the number. And he begged, and I was like, go on then.
Every week, it's like, I might have Noel coming on.
Yeah, honestly, it's terrible from you.
Yeah.
Terrible. I'll tell you what, it was when City beat us 1-0. It was the biggest thrash on what 1-0 you'll ever see. That was last season, I think it was.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, when Pep played Bernardo as a holding midfielder, and everyone was like, "What on earth is he doing?" But yeah, it was the biggest 1-0 beating you'll ever see. Yeah. But I mean, Guardiola, he's getting them flying at the right time now, and it's like, it feels like something special is about to happen, I have to say.
No, you and I met messing over the last couple of months. I've been saying this way. I can't see past Arsenal, right? But I've changed my mind in the last week. I have. I've changed. You think of what Arsenal dropped points at the weekend. City, it feels like... So for the first time this season, a couple of weeks ago, City won 4 Premier League matches on the spin. Hasn't happened this season until a couple of weeks ago. Now, all of a sudden, you're doing this to what... Have you got a message to Arsenal Man United fans right now?
Well, here's the thing about... Arsenal looked like champions to me, right? And they played like champions against Liverpool on Sunday. But when people have been arguing about, was it 1 point getting the 2 point dropped? It's 2 points dropped because before that game, it wasn't in our hands, and now it is. Yeah. Right. So if we win every game, it's over. And my message to Arsenal fans is still: Arsenal can go to the Etihad and get a draw. They can go to the Etihad and win easily. That game is going to be immense. Yeah. And City can still, like somebody can get. There can be a major injury during the Champions League or the FA Cup. So it's not over yet. My message to Arsenal fans would be, hope for the best but prepare for the worst. Mm.
No, as long as you might as well make you out of South America for that Arsenal game. You don't want to be
anywhere near it.
Get over that part of the world. Go to Peru or something.
I'll be there. I'll be there for that game. Don't worry about that. I'll be there for that.
Noel, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate. Really appreciate you coming on.
Cheers, Noel.
Nice one, guys. In a bit.
Cheers,
take care. Noel Gallagher, the Oasis legend. I can't believe you're mates with Noel Gallagher.
Look, we just message one another on
does he ever message you, or is it always you messaging him?
No.
Please come on,
it's just football. It's all football chat.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
Yeah,
it's never anything else.
You never asked him for a ticket.
Never asked him for a ticket. No, wouldn't ask him for a ticket. I might now though. No, it's just pure football chat the whole time.
Yeah, he definitely loves his team. He knows his stuff.
No, he does know his stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
The Sports Bar with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. Monday to Thursday nights from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.